Hey everybody, Mark McKenna. Welcome to the Real Hustle Podcast. Today is a great day. I'm here with a very close friend of mine. I'm going to state that we are friends before we're realtor buddies together. Will that be safe? I'm here with Sam Lepore. Sam, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Mark. Excited.
So we're going to talk about a little bit how history and Sam's progression in the luxury market. I think it's a great story. I think one of the things that really stand out to me is that at the level Sam became a top producer, how quickly that happened. And I think, as being competition, you need to respect the people that you work for. And we have a great relationship. We still talk, sometimes once a week, every couple of weeks, we'll run some things by each other, him by me and vice versa. So, all right, so you sent me a funny email today.
Yep.
Let's hear it.
10 years ago last month?
June, I think, yeah, June.
10 years ago last month, I became a full-time real estate agent.
Okay.
With Pat McKenna Realtors.
All right, so Sam comes in, he's here, and he wants to learn the business. And instantly I knew that, all right, there's something different about this guy, okay? He gets it right away. And one of the key things that I always thought that when I was looking back, preparing for the interview, is the emphasis that you put in on the marketing side of things, right out of the gate. I thought that was amazing. Want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I started here, just about 10 years ago, we can go back to my prior life, but...
And that was mortgage industry?
Yeah, so I started in the mortgage industry. I was building houses. While I was building houses, I got my real estate license.
Okay.
Never really did anything with it, just had it.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I was building websites. Not too many people know this, but I was building websites that was generating leads.
Okay.
For car insurance and payday loans. That went very well.
Okay. That's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah. So that's what I was doing prior to becoming a real estate agent. And then, things hit the fan with.
You could say shit hit the fan.
We can say shit hit the fan with Google changing their algorithm. So my websites went from first page to 20 page.
Okay.
And when you're on the second page, it's no good.
So you figured that out overnight. All of a sudden, you were here, and then.
Yeah. So I was driving home from, I was in the mortgage business, driving home from work one day. I'm like, there's got to be a way to make money on the internet. So I contacted some people. I had some people in India working for me, building these websites. Croatia was doing some SEO work for me. And we were generating a massive amount of leads. And that went from very lucrative to zero overnight.
So there's a little bit of a moral of the story from that in this whole interview. Okay, if you're generating all your business from one spot, you got to be careful.
That's right. I did. I had my eggs all in one basket. I had several different websites, but Google hit them all at one time.
Yeah, took everything out. And I always kind of relate that to the agents who I know who get an REO account, right? It takes over your whole life. You have nothing but REO business. You forget about your clients. And one day, there's going to be someone new at the bank, and they're going to go, boop, pull it.
Right. So REO is a good example of that. So I figured I had I was in the mortgage industry. I knew how to build houses. I had my real estate license, and I knew how to generate leads. So I knew Mark, and I made a phone call and I said, I'm going to get into real estate full time.
I remember what you said. You said, seems like you guys have a lot of fun at your office. You mind if I shadow you for a couple hours and hang out?
Yep.
And fun we had.
It was tons of fun, and I'm sure it still happens here. I'm still friends with a lot of your agents that are still here, and
we had some characters back. Joe Catalani, God rest his soul, one of the funniest guys of all time, and we would laugh. And then Jim Borst stories.
Jim Borst, you got to love Shrimpy. Everybody loves that guy. Yeah, so we had some fun.
So we knew Sam always wanted to go into a certain zip code. At that point in time, he's like, "You're going to expand?" I said, "No, we're not." So he made a leap, went to work in the Moorestown area, and from there you're really kind of hyper focused on being the guy in that town, correct?
Yeah, so that's where I was living. So I that's where all my friends were. That's where the kids were going to school. So I'm like, I really need to focus on that area. And that's what I did. I became entrenched in the town. I always say this, get to know as many people as possible, and do good things for the town, be a good community person, get involved in events as much as possible. It's a small town, so everybody knows who I am.
Treat everybody right.
Treat everybody right, and that's what I did. So I focused on that, and then expanded on from there.
So at what point do you remember did you start like kind of building a team, because you were running a little scattered for a while and it starts to grow? So was it year 3 you hired an assistant?
Yeah, so it's a funny story how I did everything wrong, actually. So I was by
Don't we all?
I was by myself at first, right, and then it started to get busy, and then you can only handle so much. So the rule is, you get busy, you hire an assistant. I hired a buyer's agent. So now we're both
made
busy.
more work.
So now we're both busy, and now I'm the assistant, right? So do not do that. You hire an assistant first, and then build out from there. And the crazy thing is, I had a coach that told me to do that.
To hire a buyer's agent?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope they fired you.
Yeah, so I fired them. That coach is no longer around. But that's what I did. So yeah, it was probably year 2 I hired that buyer's agent. And then year 3 is probably when I started. I was sharing an assistant with somebody.
So, and the one thing that I see happen entirely too much, and I'm sure you're going to agree with this, is people try and start a team way too early.
Yeah.
Okay? So I think when you are generating, you're closing between 40 to 60 deals on your own with maybe one staff person, then it's time to kind of start that team, because Sam's team's pretty big. How many people have your team?
We have about 11, there's 11 total of us now.
So 11 agents. So you need to show value to your team all the time. People just start a team just to have a team and they don't have to work as hard. It's the polar opposite, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to be careful with that. I like to show a lot of value to my team players. So that's why I don't go crazy with hiring. I'm pretty picky on who joins the team, and not willy-nilly on just hiring anybody, and that's important.
So, and we have had discussions in the past, like he likes a little bit more seasoned agent.
Yes.
Okay, instead of the brand new agent, where I always get yelled at that I see too much upside in everybody. Shay and everybody, and Carly make fun of me all the time. But you like to have at least their background or their experience together.
Yeah, so everybody's different. I'm not the training type. I'm not, hey Sam, how do I log into Bright MLS? I can't do that.
I get it.
I can't do it. Now, I probably passed on some superstars, but it makes my life easier and sane if I hire somebody at least with a year or 2 of experience.
I mean, you're not starting from scratch. I get it. And
yeah. So if I had a bigger team, bigger company, I have a training department, things like that.
And that's probably, to me, one of the biggest problems that I see in real estate today is you see so many people, so many agents, because in the last 3 to 5 years, so many people got their real estate license. Half of them don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yes.
And it's a big problem, especially when your team's streamlined and you run it. One deal turns out like to be the first transaction ever done.
Yeah, I always say there's no barrier to entry in this business. Everybody thinks it's easy.
It is easy.
Yeah. It's very, very difficult. And somebody thinks, I'm going to go out and get my real estate license, and then they realize it's really not that easy. Especially in a down market, they're going to see how almost impossible.
And we talk about this all the time. So Sam gets in the business 2013.
Yep.
Every year sees growth, okay? Doing a great job. So in my opinion, if you can write a high volume for 5 to 6 years in a row, and I talk about high volume, I'm not talking 10 million, I'm talking 50 million and over, you're accomplishing something, okay? So that's why I like to surround myself with high-level thinkers like this.
Yeah.
So, and you do that, and then, because when the market changes significantly, a lot of people are going to be jumping off the bridges.
Which they are now.
They are, because we're still super busy. Price points are still doing really good in some price points, but the amount of transactions is off by almost 30%.
Yes.
So agents who don't get, their team doesn't provide them with leads and business and opportunities, don't know what to do. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. You got to have my team. I do provide the value that they need, every training, whatever that I can help them with. Mm-hmm. We have the good name out there. You have a good name out there. Like you need that. And the onesie twosies people that just got their license.
It's going to be.
It's a tough game.
It's difficult.
It's a tough game. So that's why I built my brand. I went ahead, I got a logo as soon as I came on, built the brand, got really into social media, and we'll probably talk about a little bit of that.
Yeah, we're going to hit that.
That's huge.
No two ways about it.
For everybody knowing who you are, and that's important in this business.
Well, I think one of the keys to success that he hit on right away is if you're going to be in this business for a long time and not a flash in the pan, you have to be so entrenched in the community. You really do. And you can't do it in a way that it looks like you're not genuine about it. You have to be really passionate about what you do. Like, we do all different things, sponsor teams and buy billboards and pay for AstroTurf and do that. But we do it because we love to be a part of the town. I mean, he does a lot of great things. You do that. I love the pie giveaway you do. And supporting the businesses in town that you work in, I think, is really important.
It goes a long way. And I always tell my team, everyone's watching.
Correct.
Everyone is watching. The money is in not the people that reach out to you, it's the people that are watching you and realizing that, you know what, Mark just did a really nice thing. And when I'm ready to sell my house, I'm calling him. So everyone's watching. You got to watch what you do on social media because it's huge right now. And
even just walking into a store in town or going to the bank or going to your dry cleaners, and just because they know who you are. Yeah. Okay.
I get stopped all the time, and I know you do around here, but I get stopped all the time, and they'll just say, hey, thank you for what you did. Hey, I love your videos.
Yeah, it's great.
It's just people are watching that you don't even know.
Correct. And so let's go, that's a perfect segue. So into the social media side of things, okay? So I think that locally in South Jersey, that Sam was the first guy to really invest in, say, all right, I'm going to take this social media and go to the next level. So what made you dive into that so heavy?
Yeah, so it's funny that when I first came here 10 years ago, I wasn't on Facebook.
Yeah.
I didn't have Facebook. I definitely wasn't on Instagram, and I don't even think TikTok was around. It might have been called Musical.ly at that point.
Now he can't be without his phone for 5 seconds.
Now
I stole it one time. He almost killed me.
Very, very addicted to my phone. I will admit that. Mark did have an Android, but now he's an iPhone.
Yes.
So
I am. It took me about 20 years.
And I want to tell a funny story about when I first got here. My very first day. You can cut this out if you want, but I'm going to tell it anyway. I sat down at my desk, got all ready. Jeff Amsden, what's the Wi-Fi password?
Oh,
He's like, we don't have Wi-Fi here.
Yeah. All right.
There's no Wi-Fi here. So I got on the phone, or Mark got on the phone with Comcast that day, and we had Wi-Fi the next day. And Jeff's like, that's all it takes? He's like, all these years, we don't have Wi-Fi.
We got it done.
And now we got it.
We're working hard. So the password to our Wi-Fi is Sam Lepore. I don't know if you guys know that.
So I remember hitting publish on Facebook. And I remember thinking, like, Facebook, I mean, who cares where, I don't care where people eat. I don't care what you did this weekend. That is ridiculous. I think it's stupid. But guess what? Facebook is probably the biggest contributor to my success over the years.
And you would say that
Single
for
biggest.
the branding of it, generating leads?
So everything, yeah. So branding, people getting to know me, just everything that goes into that. And it's been very, very powerful.
And, you know, the one thing that I always say to people, like, you know, and we try, that's why we, you know, when we built the new facility, we really put an emphasis on video. Like, you have to do good video content. Yeah, I mean, that is the key. Like, everything you see, and some of these realtors that throw some video content out there, I mean, I cringe when I watch it.
Yeah.
But you need to really do it right. And what would you say, when you're doing the video content, what's the most important thing that you would tell somebody who's just starting out?
Be as natural as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have a camera like we're standing in front of today. It could be an iPhone. It's like something simple. People want to be able to relate to you.
Correct.
They don't care that you ate at the restaurant last night.
I agree.
Although I do like to mix that in every once in a while. It's not like, hey, look at this listing, look at this listing, look at this listing. It's, hey, here's my cute kids, right? Here's what we spent our anniversary in Key West, something like that.
It's got, some people don't like to mix their personal page and their business page.
I think it's important.
I definitely do.
I think it's important.
I'll put a picture up of cows and I'll get like 300 people who like the cows in the backyard.
Right.
Like they want to see, like, you're like, you have
Something.
a little bit of a, like, look, and you hit it right on the head. My new listing, I just sold this.
Yeah,
You
they
can't
don't
do
care.
that.
They don't
They really don't care.
They don't care. They like funny. Try to be as funny as you can, relatable as you can. They want to get behind the scenes of what you're doing here, you know. So, and I'll take it another step further and go back. Not even video; it's photos, like listing photos. I mean, we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Mark will call me like, "Yo, Sam, take a look at 123 Main Street."
We laugh. We'll send the. It's horrible.
It's insanity. It's insanity that people are putting these photos online, and the sellers are okay with it.
Listen, if I see one more rear view mirror on a picture of a house, you are so goddamn lazy. You can't get out of your car to take a picture.
Is it blurry and as a
Yeah, they didn't even slow down. Just look at it. And or my other favorite is when you see them at the house is a mess and they're in the mirror, in the bathroom, they're sitting there.
We're talking $1 million houses. I mean, these it's unbelievable.
Lazy. And I tell you what's going to happen. When those people who got away with it, when you could just put anything online and it would sell, their days are numbered. The one thing that I have always done, and Sam, we always had professional photography. We were one of the first ones to start using.
I use it on rentals.
Yeah, what was our guy's name?
$1,000 rental.
What was our guy's name? I can't even say his name.
Let's not say his name.
But one of the funniest, oddest guys ever. We had a lot of laughs with him.
A lot of
Yes,
a lot
it
of
was.
laughs.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, photos are huge. A good internet presence is critical in this business.
I agree.
And a lot of the older agents that are still in this business are having trouble catching up, quite frankly, in my opinion. They're not on video. They're not on social media a lot.
Well, it's tough. Like,
It's
listen,
it's difficult for them.
the only reason that I was able to adjust, you know, I'm in my mid-50s now. You got to surround yourself with people who know what they're doing, have great ideas, understand it, and, you know, being natural in front of the camera, it takes a while.
Yeah.
It might take 15, 20 different things you do and progress. Like, you know, my videographer, okay, we look at what he did in a year's time. It's night and day from the stuff that we
Absolutely.
do. You keep on
It
learning.
definitely evolves, and you can look back at my YouTube channel, and I don't know if you remember this, but I had a listing in West Hampton on Deerwood Country Club, and I hired this guy to do a drone shot. This was 10 years ago, 9, 10 years ago.
Okay.
It was a quadcopter about this big, and he's like, Sam, I'll shoot that for $20 for you. I said, $20, you got a deal. We went over to the house. We did it's the worst video. But guess what? Back then,
No one had it.
people were like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So, like to your word, it evolves, and you got to keep evolving with it. And I think that's the problem with half of this.
Well, and I think a lot of the people, and I tell my agents in our sales meeting, if you keep doing the same shit, you're going to get the same results. Yeah. Every year, if things are working, you need to look at what's working and what's not working, and really look at, because I think one of the problems agents have, they don't look at it as a business. So
I always say that
their return on investment, when you look on things, like we have a product we put in to play, we thought it was going to be great last year. It was okay. Yeah. We're going to really cut back on it and try something else just to keep the leads coming in for the agents, but we got to make smart decisions.
You got to treat your business like a business, and most people don't.
And one of the things, because obviously a lot of our audience are realtors, okay? So for all these agents who buy Zillow leads, okay, when you buy Zillow leads and when you pay your agents 75, 80% and you're buying the leads, you are losing money, okay? You're keeping them busy, but you are losing money, and it's not a good business model.
Pads their numbers.
Yeah, it makes them feel good. Yeah, we did $70 million. I made $11 this year.
Let's look at your profit.
Correct. So understand that. I mean, this is how teams last for a long time, and they're profitable. And then you're like, how can they do that? Because they run a business, they make money, and they reinvest in things that are going to be strong.
Yeah.
Okay? One of the things that, Sam does really well, he's in a little bit more of a luxury market. He sells stuff from $200 to $4 million, but a lot of his personal inventory is on the higher end. So let's talk about how hard was that to get into that higher end market?
It's not the easiest, but you have to going back to putting quality content out there, right? People notice it, and that's how it really began. I started putting better stuff than everybody else, and then the town started noticing it.
Always ahead of the competition.
And then you get the calls. And then when you get the one call with the big house, now you got another property to market to show off. I took it to the next level. I was doing heavy duty print marketing, Twilight stuff, drones, video footage. Now you cut that up, and you drive it down people's throats even more.
And they say, you're everywhere.
Then it's just a snowball. Like, wow, Sam just listed that $2 million place.
And I would say, as I'm in that higher end market as well, sellers' expectations, like everybody really is like, I can't wait to list $1 million houses. So they're great when they sell. Okay, there was a time, and I tell the story to all the agents, and from 2007 to 2012, if I got an $800,000 listing in Marlton, Medford, or Chemung, I would cringe because they would never sell. And they suck the life out of you because you have to put out money on these big money, because their expectations are very high. They want to see what you're doing for this check that you're earning, right?
I always say that. I don't get too crazy excited on these crazy high-priced houses, because it's a lot of work, it's a lot of money out of pocket, and there's a good chance it will expire.
Correct.
So you just have to watch. It's a fine balance.
And a lot of agents, if they're not in that higher price point, they'll be intimidated by a seller when it comes to pricing. You need to be really strong when you're on these appointments.
Oh, yeah.
Have you walked out of it like not taking inventory because of the price?
Many times. So you have to be like, look, in a seller's market, it's a little bit different. In a buyer's market, you're going to walk away from them a lot easier. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, some people just are not realistic, and if they are way unrealistic,
you can't take it.
You can't take it.
Because I tell this to agents in the office all the time. When you take a listing and it's so overpriced, every time that person calls you, you're going to get this like anxiety in your body, and it affects everything you do throughout the rest of the day.
Having an overpriced listing is no fun.
No fun.
No fun.
Painful. And listen, I've been in those moments. I've had some weak moments where it's 8:30, I'm in somebody's living room, and I just dying to go home. I've been in the office. I've been dressed in dress clothes since 8 a.m. and I'm their drone, and I just say, all right, and I take it. One of the worst things you can ever do. Do not take it.
Always kicking yourself. You got to go with your gut. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's painful, and because you get one or two, and the sign starts sitting around, and you don't sell stuff. People notice that.
Absolutely.
And then they come.
Can go against you.
And then you come to the next guy, and he's really strong, or next woman, and they're firm, and they get the price drop. They sell it, and they look like a rock star.
Well, they always get the price drop. That's the killer.
Yes, that really eats you up. I got to tell you, I've had some lists that put so much time in, and effort, and deals falling apart, and then they pull it and they drop the price $200,000.
Can we please lower the price? Nope.
Nope.
And then it's $200,000 a week later or less. I'm like, what?
There you go. So, and one of the things that I will tell, I don't know if you see it in your office, a lot of people don't even know how to get a price reduction.
No, price reductions are very, very important. Very important. Even in a seller's market, you have to act. You have to act fast, and you got to do it. The first 2 to 3 weeks are so crucial in a listing. If you don't have offers by then, you have to drop that price.
And being a great listing agent, one of the main things is you have to set expectations for your sellers. Do you agree with that?
Always.
Like, all right, this is how it's going to work, okay? If we got nothing after 3 weeks, we got to have what I call a come to Jesus meeting and talk about what's happening in the market.
So my favorite saying is price cures all objections.
Yeah.
Right? I say, will you buy your house at $1 million? No way. Will you buy it at 100,000? Twice on Sundays, right? So there's a number in between where people are going to stop objecting and then bite and buy your house. So we have to find that number. And it's so important, because when you go into these listings and you take this inventory and you don't set out a plan for your clients, you're going to fail miserably. They're not going to like you. You are not going to sell the house, and you're not going to get referrals. It's the whole name of the game. Have to set the expectations. It's so huge in this business.
Yeah. So what percent would you think of your business is referral based?
A lot now. So it increases as years go on.
Correct.
Right? Mm-hmm. In the beginning, it's all Facebook ads and
correct.
And, realtor leads.
Tracking people down.
Whatever
open house people. All that stuff.
Yeah, all of that stuff. But that slowly reduces as time goes on.
So 10 years later, we were just talking before, we think he's probably had over $400 million in production in a 10-year period, okay? So that doesn't happen too often, okay? So most people, the transgression is, you're doing 5 million, you go to 8, and if you get to 11, you think you're a superstar. When you start doing 50, 60, 70 million dollars a year consistently, you're doing something really right. So I'm going to ask you a question, 2 questions. I ask this to a lot of people. Biggest mistake you ever made?
The biggest mistake I ever made
in real estate.
Real estate. Well, the one was probably going back to hiring that buyer's agent and not hiring the assistant sooner. That was critical.
Yeah,
that was pretty critical.
And you got to remember too, and like I have a group of 7 salaried people. I calculate every salaried person that works for you will equate to about 40 to 50 transactions. That's how I always look. Someone can do on their own 50 to 65 deals. You're running ragged. Like, you're not sleeping, you're working 13-hour days, you're running crazy. And every salaried person is going to equate for another 40 to 50 transactions.
People come to me all the time. They're like, Sam, I don't have the money to pay this person. I'm scared to death. What if I don't get the business? There's ways around it, right? You can pay them per deal, right? I mean, you got to remember these people will make you busier and you will make more money.
Correct.
You have to, they get stuck in their head that, oh my God, I'm going to pay $50,000 on a salary. You think you're not going to make that back plus that? It's a bad mentality to have.
It's $2 million in sales.
It's a bad mentality to have, and you make a good hire is very important in your business.
Correct.
That's the other thing too. I have 3 salaried employees. They're all amazing. They've been with me for a long time. There's no turnover, and the good hires are so important, but the bad hires,
yeah,
can be bad.
Yeah, I've had a couple that weren't so great, and I catch a lot of heat for that. So now the new hiring process has everything goes through Shay because I can't make a good decision anymore, except for the people that I have.
Very important.
I have to tell you, Christina, is that Christine, his assistant she's one of the best out
the
there.
best.
She's
Christine
really
Turner,
good.
She's awesome.
How many years?
She's been with me now. Oh shit.
7?
Probably not 6.
6?
Yeah, probably 6.
So when you're interviewing and you're talking about going on a team, I think one of the most important questions that you ask is, how many salaried people do you have to help support what we're doing? If the team's got 30 people and 1 assistant, you better run out the door.
Yeah.
Okay? So we always have the thought process of being overstaffed to make sure we're ready for growth. And I think it's super important. If someone goes on vacation, everybody knows what they're doing. You got to be able to do that.
Well, it goes back to giving value to the team, right? I mean, people aren't going to be on the team to draw up their own contract. You know, they're just, they want to know that there's nothing that they really need to do. They need to show houses, make offers, and then we take it from there, right?
Yeah,
So
with that, they want to, yeah, exactly.
right,
They just want to come in and go.
You got to show the value, or you're just going to have turnover going out of style.
And one of the things, so you have 11 agents on your team?
Yes, there's 10 and 3, so 13 total.
13. All right. So
That includes me, actually.
So do you have a standard how many transactions someone has to?
Yeah, so I am not big on that. I am not like, if you don't bring me 2 transactions, you're fired. Mm-hmm. My deal is come on the team, make sure you fit within the team and don't cause any issues.
No drama policy.
No drama. And then, obviously, do you handle your clients properly? Are you returning phone calls and emails like you should?
Correct, because you don't want your reputation to get ruined.
As long as they're doing that, I am not too much of a stick. I'm not like a hard sales guy like Glenn Ross, which you should watch that movie if you never did.
10 times.
Amazing. So I'm not like that with as far as that goes.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I think that we talk about, you come in, you got to mesh with the team well. You know, we have the same thing, 0 drama tolerance. You go in some of these offices, no one's talking to people, and it's like a zoo.
It's not good for it's not good for anybody. We like to have fun. We like to do good work. Mm-hmm. And the other thing too about that is, you have 3 offers, 5 offers. My team gives you an offer, and you got 4 other no-namers that do bad business. All things being equal, I can tell you right now that Mark's going to take my offer.
Well, he has pictures of me, so I have to give him the offer.
No,
Yeah,
but
I get it. I know how the job. It's going to. The deal's going to get to the table.
That goes into
You're
everything.
right.
When you sit down with the seller and present all these offers, they're going to look to you for some advice too.
Just how the offer's presented. Like, when I talk to my sellers, again, setting expectations, we're going to get multiple offers more than likely, and it all comes down to price, terms, realtor, and lender. I say that. Okay, so
The highest offer is not always the best.
Correct. Don't get so excited about the best money. Certain people can't get a deal to the table. Okay, I know. There's 3 agents I can rattle off the top of my head. I see an offer come in, I run because I can't get anything close. Even when I go to contract. So you don't want to have that reputation.
It's a very important piece. You got to go with somebody that's going to keep the deal together, and also the lender, right? You're going to look at the lender. Who are they going with? Joe Schmo on the internet, or are they going to go with
Correct.
someone local here in town?
And as simple as just presenting the offer in a professional format.
That's important.
Oh my God, because if you're dealing with experienced agents and you send an offer and it looks like a sixth grader did it, you're going to go to the bottom of the pile because they know this transaction is going to be a mess. Would you agree?
So important.
So important. So like the little detail that people take that gets you extra deals each year. I mean, it really does. I mean, if you're listening to what he's saying, he's talking about how different lead sources, Facebook ads and Google and this and open houses. I tell it all the time. You need to pull a little bit of business from a lot of different places, right? And that's funny how you started off with that segue, which I never knew. One day, all those leads dried up, and I'm like, oh shit, I got to reinvent myself.
Yep.
Like that's a prime example. I had breakfast with an agent this morning, and we were talking. He was an REO agent from 2005 to 2009.
And he killed it during that time.
And overnight, they changed the asset manager. Right. He forgot his whole book of business for 15 years.
So no follow-up with past clients.
Zero.
No social media, nothing. And now he's left with he's building it back up.
He had to take the last
I don't even know what he's talking about, but
10 years of his career, he had to re-engage with all these people and listen, if you leave your database of clients, go away, I mean, they probably really like you, but they're going to find somebody else in 2 seconds, okay? It's so important to be consistent, and, one of the keys that I've always said to success in real estate is you have to be consistent in how you work every day. You're in the office. What time do you come in?
I come in 8:30ish, 9ish, something like that.
All right, so 8:30, probably come in. There's probably a handful of people in the office, But most realtors don't stroll in until 10:30, 11 o'clock. Okay?
If that.
They go to the gym. They come in. They make a couple copies. They knock on your door. You wave. Okay? But you have to be so consistent in everything you do, and mix it all together. Client follow-up, prospecting, what's our plan for social media during the week? Everything has to be done. That's how you run a real estate business, okay? And obviously, the guy did it in 10 years and has figured it out rather quickly.
Office every single day, Mark. Every single day.
You have to be.
Yeah, every single day.
Look, if you work from home, God bless you, but you don't know how many deals you're missing not being in the office.
Just being around, like me coming here, right? New agent, don't know anything.
Correct.
You took me under your wing. I'm going on listing appointments. I'm going to broker. The first day was a broker's luncheon with Kristen Holloway.
Oh, yeah. Oh, how about, I'm going to tell 2 stories.
All right, go ahead.
2 stories. How about when I took you to Joe Samos' office?
That was amazing.
I said, Sam, you'll never believe what I'm going to take you into. You walked out of there like you saw a ghost. It was we can't even explain it, but
that was an amazing.
It was something. Joe Samos.
I tried recording it on my phone.
Oh my God! It was probably you were in shell shock.
That was amazing.
And then I always remember too, the Voorhees sale. And I said, you're all ready? We got settlement in 2 days. Yep. I'm like, all right, you get the CO? Whoop!
I tell that story all the time.
Right? Sam will never, ever forget the CO again. But guess what? You got it to the table. You didn't miss it. You closed on that.
That was Jerry Ionelli's house.
Yes, Jerry Ionelli.
Jerry's living in Florida now with his beautiful wife.
Uh-huh.
It was Eastwood Court, maybe?
It was over in...
Modern house.
Yes.
I remember I text Mark, closing's tomorrow, before Eastwood. He's like, nice job. 2 minutes later, did you get the CO? I don't know why you knew to ask me that.
Because Voorhees is tough.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't get the CO, and this was like at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe.
And the settlement was the next day or the day?
Voorhees, it was the next day. Voorhees, thank God, has a same-day CO.
Okay.
The CO was $200, obviously out of my pocket. Gladly walked down there. But Voorhees required a survey.
Yeah, you go every time.
How did I get around that?
They must have ordered it. You got lucky. So, and
Somebody must have had
did
a
you sleep
survey.
that night?
I don't know if I slept that night, but the fire inspector was there at like 9 in the morning.
Got it done.
And we settled at 11.
Yeah. So, and it was an alluvium. That's where it was. Over
And Gail Hahn was the buyer's agent.
So, and the reason why I tell these stories, everybody thinks these things just happen to them. Like, that happened to him. He'll never forget a CO again. I went to a closing one time. I walked in. I had the file. We had one of the busiest months ever, just me and Lucy. We closed like 18 transactions, just her and I.
This story.
I walked into the closing. I opened my file up. We didn't have one document. I didn't have a deed, a payoff, and a search, nothing. And I just came clean. I said, guys, the good news is I'm here. The bad news, I have nothing, and I will get it done by 5 o'clock. And I got all that shit done. It happened, okay? You own up to it. And you say, when you make a mistake, not everybody's perfect. You don't make up a story and lie and bullshit.
Yep.
You own up to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a funny one.
Yeah, that was good. I was.
Yeah, the old CO. I'll never forget a CO anymore.
Yeah, Shay's over there shaking her head as we have a CO on Monday. It's all good, but so when you listen to this, and the reason why we do these things, we bring top agents in here, is things don't happen overnight. Everybody has the same struggles. Some people get to the higher numbers quicker, and I want to tell you the one thing about Sam that I've never seen anybody do in this office is Sam invested in himself right away.
Yes.
Okay? He spent money promoting himself. He didn't.
Look,
Right?
I had a family. I had 2 little kids at the time, or actually 1, and Jax was just being born.
Yeah.
But I dropped everything. I had 0 income, all kinds of bills.
Think about that.
I had to make it work. So I went full steam ahead, and I remember I got the lead conversion website was Conversion at the time, which is now like Boomtown, Chime, and all the others. But I was like one of the first in the area to get something like that, and it was like wild. So I was getting internet leads before internet leads were even a thing.
Yeah, and
I started right off with that. The internet leads, the Facebook marketing, and then my logo. I made a brand right away.
And that's expensive. That's not cheap.
There was a lot of money going out, and a lot of sleepless nights, but we made it work. And I remember sitting in your car. You're like, "How much money do you want to make?" I'm like, "A lot."
Good question.
Yeah. Right? So because I needed to make a lot. Right, because I knew our lifestyle, I knew what I wanted and what I wanted for my wife and kids. So we made it work.
You doing okay these days? You good?
I'm doing all right.
He's good. That's awesome.
All right, life is good. Family's great. Team is good.
How old are the kids?
Farrah is going to be 13 in December,
Okay.
and Jack's just turned 9.
All right, you're going into those tough years.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the teenage years. That's for sure.
So I hope everybody got a lot out of this. I think one of the main things that you should learn from the Start It Right, the nugget, is don't put all your eggs in one basket, number one. Number two, okay, you need to reinvest in yourself, and you cannot keep doing the same thing all the time. You are going to fail. I'm going to tell you that right now. Do the same stuff, you get the same results. You continually, when we talked about this before, that we started recording, his business has grown every year, year over year.
Yep.
That's where you want to be. And his expenses haven't gotten out of control. But great job, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Good stuff.
I had some fun.
Thanks.